Hello, it's Jean-Marc, and I am going to tell you a little story. And before I tell the little story, I'm going to repeat some things that I find really important, and that is important for my head and for my heart as well, is that stories have healing power. Especially the stories that have been passed on in spiritual traditions and be told by wise people from the past who knew what they were talking about. And so it's perfectly possible to take a story like you would take a tisane or a pill for your body. I would recommend a tisane rather than a pill unless it's already very late. But for our soul, let's take a good story. A story, why a story, by the way? A story, if you read Carl Gustav Jung or people like that who have explored the depth of our psyche, what did they find in there? What are the content of the human psyche? Pictures, symbols. And these pictures, these symbols are articulated into stories, myths, mythological stories, sometimes fairy tales, all sorts of stories. Stories. So the best way to have, I don't like the word, but a positive impact on our psyche is to start by speaking its own language. And and you know, if you do positive affirmations, it's a good tool. Positive affirmations. Every day my life is going better and better, and I'm grateful for this and grateful for that. That's great. But a story is made of pictures, and a picture is worth 1,000 words. So imagine how many positive affirmations you can get just by telling one healing story. Oh, I'm a bit joking here to make my case, but that's really what I believe in, because when we absorb a story, there is no need to believe in it. There is no need to look for some kind of dogma. There is no need to get a tense attitude. No, just loving it, just soaking into the atmosphere gives our psyche an attitude which is healing. Anyway, the story I'm going to tell you now is from the Gospel. I don't claim to belong to any church. I am a storyteller, and sometimes I tell Buddhist stories and Taoist stories, Sufi stories. The stories of the Gospel are also close to my heart. It doesn't mean that everything that any church can say, I say you've got to believe it just because you're listening to a little story. And get rid of all the old conditioning. Let's get to the heart of things. There is a guy who wanted to invite his neighbors. He wanted to have a dinner party with his neighbors. That was a great idea. So he started to prepare the food with the help of his servants, because he was a guy who was rich enough to have servants. And then he sent one of them to invite the neighbors and say, come along for have a dinner party. And they were all too busy. They all had excuses. They apologized. They said they were sorry, but they had some business here and they had something urgent to do there, and nobody accepted the invitation. And the guy found himself with his table full of food and no guest. So he said to his servant, you go back into the street, and now you invite all the beggars and all the miserable wretch and all you can find in the street that is happy to come and have a dinner party. Let them in. And eventually they had a wonderful dinner party, and they laughed and they were happy and they drank wine and they sang and so on and so on. And in the story, Jesus tells this story, and he says that actually that's how the kingdom of heaven is. It's like this table where everyone is invited, and there are some who, well, are too busy. That's also something I love in the gospel. That's it's not exactly in favor of being too busy. Hmm? That's one of the value of our time, that so many people think that being busy is some kind of sacred excuse. If you're busy, you can... no, 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 no. Being too busy, you miss the dinner party. And the point of spiritual life is not to be busy. Is to share joy, love, to be happy, so on. So I hope you love the story. I love this image, because precisely when we soak this kind of stories in, we get a healing vibe.